think we're back. So where is this station? It's not him. Could be this. Yeah, so if you're here, just want to say welcome. I'm not really. I've never been a very good game player, and this is not going to be like a real. I'm just doing what I do, and if you guys want to hang out, that's great. You're welcome. I'm glad to have you, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna be working real hard to entertain you. So my apologies there. But you know, I'm here. Aha! No? Is this it? I think this is it. Let's see. Like I said, I haven't played this game in a long time. Can't even remember how to change views. There we go. So what's this? So it looks like we have two of them. I see. So basically what happened was I had those two contracts for space stations, and I fulfilled both of them. So basically I have now have this space station, you know, port, or two of them. Let's see, do I want to do that? Do I want to build out this station? It's like at 2.8 megameters, 2.8 million meters. I mean, that's just way too. I mean, it's an intermediate range station, but I think we'll build something that's lower down. Not not sure we have a contract. Oh, maybe this. Yeah. No. Polar orbit. I don't want to be in polar orbit. Okay. Propulsion. Don't really need that. Air volume containment. Need that. Composites. Might be useful. Altitude flight. Fluid dynamics. No, don't need that. Scanning technology. I don't really need anything right now for a space station, but let's see if you're here. Basically, I'm kind of investigating an old save I have. I haven't played this in ages, so let's load this up and see what we got. Oh look, we got a basic science station module. This might be, we might just launch this. Okay, so this is probably what we got around the moon and Minmus. So this should be entirely adequate. Now, let's see. We have our Kerbo script module. With our ish interactive shell. And so, okay, so this has got 1.7, so 1.5 on liftoff, 3,500. Yeah, that should leave plenty of fuel. Yeah, let's just run this and see what happens. Yeah, we might revert it depending on how it goes. Okay, we're going to okay. Yeah, either one should be fine. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Okay. I'm going to be using our interactive shell. I'm going to set up a launch. And we're going to do a okay. Oh. And I want to do 52 degrees. Inclination is 52 degrees, and longitude of descending node, we don't care. Orbit height, I think I want to do 100. 100,000. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, so launch vehicle, and I think, let's see, I gotta look that up, see what I got. I think this is a Bulldog H. We'll see. And engage. The control of them. I'm going to reduce the gimbal on here because it looks like it's wobbling a bit. There we go. So these are gonna flame out here in a bit and activate these parachutes. Yeah. I think I got one of those active recovery things, so I might get a refund for some of that. Apoapis up to 50,000. I don't know if you've ever heard, but one of the rules of thumb, you get your apoapsis out to about 40 seconds into the future, and you just hold it there. So you moderate your throttle, and that works well in Kerbal Space Program, of course, but in real life, you don't usually have a whole lot of control authority over your rocket engines. I mean, that's definitely changed with SpaceX and some of these newer space technology companies. But in the early days of space, there's deep throttling meant that you were able to throttle it down to like 90%. It was just not a thing to be able to throttle down like they do these days. Anyway, so we got about 500, about 400 delta V left in our, center engine, and it will be. We still have. Yeah, we're getting close to orbital velocity, but we want to kick up the orbit to about 100,000. Plus we're doing a bit of a polar, so this might require a bit more. We'll see. I'm not sure if we set up the launch script correctly. Let me see. This. Yeah, so we might be able to, this might be doing the circularization on this engine. We'll see what happens. Like I said, it's been a long time since I played this game, so I'm not sure how I have it set up. But we're going to coast until we get out of the atmosphere, and until we get there, it kind of puffs here and there just to keep the apoapsis at the desired altitude. Now I think the International Space Station is something like 52 degrees inclination, and that's what I picked. And of course, we still have plenty of fuel remaining, so. Yeah, I think this probably is configured for, driving us to one of the other moons. I'm pretty sure this is probably what I used to put those stations in Minimus and the Moon, the Mun. So this design is, in some respects, technically a stage and a half, which I don't know if you've read up on um, the Atlas, the Mercury Atlas version, but I have a soft spot in my heart for the Atlas version of the Mercury program, because they didn't, at the time, they didn't actually know how to light engines on orbit, but their problem was that they needed a staging capacity. So what they did was they lit 3 engines, and then they then about halfway to orbit they dropped 2. So they dropped those big heavy engines to reduce mass. So it basically had this skirt thing with 2 engines, and then the center one was like optimized for orbit. And so the 2 big heavy engines were used as the boost engines to get it off the ground. But then when it got into the upper atmosphere, it dropped those, and what it had left was the weaker, more efficient space engine. Okay, so I think mission complete. Yeah, so we've gotten into orbit, and we're gonna deploy these. So now and yeah, these of course don't have the big solar panels, and so this is, relatively early game space station. Let's see, and of course we don't have anyone manned here. We're going to have to bring up a couple of scientists and whatever. So what I was thinking about doing tonight was, building this out just a little bit. Maybe, of course, we're going to have to get it manned. And we could use it as a fuel depot, but I don't know. I think I just want to play as a station. So we'll get rid of the booster here. Deploy everything. Like this antenna. I think I have do I know how to have a dish antenna? I would have thought I put a dish antenna on here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yep, there's a dish antenna. So we'll have high gain and low gain comms up for when the guys get up here. We got cargo. Oh, look at all this stuff. So yeah, so this was fitted out as a experiment storage unit. Okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll maybe see about deorbiting this. Write it down and then YouTube keeps on giving me errors. There's something about keyframes. I don't know what it's talking about. Okay. Point to retrograde. Okay, that should do it. Yeah, the computer core was still in control. So we'll write this down and then we'll go and maybe build out some structural components. Maybe, well, we'll probably bring up some crew and then build out some structural components to make additional things. Warp. Okay, down in the atmosphere. Now we're dipping down pretty deep, so this is basically gonna go straight in when we hit. Probably gonna land somewhere about here. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not very good at guessing. You know what? Let's see what happens. Let's just, for the fun of it, burn off our fuel. We gotta be careful we don't just change our orbit entirely. I probably won't, because I don't think this is this engine is sufficiently optimized, but we can also point it straight down. These space engines, they don't have enough power to make us go up again. Burn off enough weight, maybe. I don't know. I guess I was wrong. There we go. Let's see what happened to the... I don't know if our booster already dug in. Here we go. Okay. So let's see what else we got in this same game. 2 relays, 3 curb transporter. That's probably what I want. Okay, so this is basically the same configuration. And as we've noticed, that's set up for taking them off to the moon. So I think this is actually what I should probably use. This I think this is crew resupply. Yeah. So how far can this go? This is probably perfect. Okay. So let's pick out some crew. Need a couple of scientists and a pilot. This is perfect. Okay. What do you think? Should we have an engineer too? Yeah, we should always have an engineer, right? Okay. So we're going to be running the launch off of this core here. Close. Launch. And we are going to be using let's make sure we got it right. So the upper stage is a Poodle. That's another Poodle. Yeah. Okay, so we have our first stage, our second stage, and then on our upper stage for our command and service module, we got that up there. Okay. So we're going to do setup dash launch. Now what we're going to do here is we want to do this coplanar, and actually let me make sure I get it right. Get rid of all that. Yeah, so we want to do this. What is this? Yeah, that's us. The basic science station. So basic science station. So we want to do coplanar. Target is basic science station. Okay. Okay. Did I not code this to accept quotations? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I did, so we're gonna have to change the name here. Yep, me and my buggy code. Let's see. I think there's our probe core, I think. Rename vessel, yeah. Put it and we're just going to call it the BSS. Okay. Switch to Okay, so let's open this up again. Launch from here, set up launch. Coplanar. Our target is the BSS. And yeah, we're just going to do 80,000. And our launch vehicle, our launch parameters file is the Bulldog. And start. So what we're doing here is we're waiting for our launch window. And basically what that means is that we have to wait until the orbit of the space station, we're underneath the orbit of the space station. So now we're gonna launch. Let's see. Do I need to reduce the command authority on that engine? No, we're looking okay. But you see the direction we're headed. We're launching south. And so you see the direction of our orbit. We're driving south so that when this orbit line is when this orbit line comes over the top of us, we want to be right. We want to be moving right in line with that. So now we're into the driving stage of the launch. You know, throttling it down, trying to keep this time to APO about 44 seconds, and yeah. Have about 7.5 degrees of inclination difference. Yeah. So the space station is somewhere over here. There it is, right there. See that? That's our space station. That little speck right there. So we're going to be joining up with it. It's going to take us a bit, but we'll get there. And first thing, though, that we're doing is we're getting into a coplanar orbit. And that's why we selected coplanar in the launch, setup launch feature. So these, you know, the Poodle is not very good in atmosphere. So I think for this particular rocket, we're going to be pitching up in a few minutes to make sure that we can keep our velocity rising, or that is to say, you know, our vertical velocity, so we don't fall back down. Although we might be okay. Our time to APO is actually rising, so that's good. We need to get to about 2,300 orbital velocity, and so yeah, we got plenty there. We should be fine. So we probably don't need the service module stage to do our circularization. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. But let's take a look at where we are. So there's the space station right there, and here we are. And so yeah, we're going to be right underneath it, which isn't isn't necessarily great, but at least we got a reference there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's our booster. And there it is. There's the space station. So again, with the script, this script, it just kind of pulses that engine. It's not great, and certainly not real world realistic, but we're just trying to keep the atmospheric drag from dragging down our apoapsis. So, you know, probably a more efficient or a smarter way would be to, you know, keep on burning the engine for a certain amount of time, but, you know, just not that smart here. So, yeah, so our apoapsis is going to be around here, and after our launch routine completes, we have some other scripts, other commands that we can run to do our rendezvous and docking, and you know, we'll see how that goes. Haven't tested them in quite some time, so. Look at that. Okay, so this was set up apparently to go ahead and do the well, it doesn't matter. I think that might have actually been a staging error, but we appear to be okay. So I think we could have done the circularization with the fuel left in the upper stage, but it looks like we're just going to go ahead and do it on our I think you'd probably call this an OMS, orbital maneuvering engine. I mean, yes, I know, you know, maybe the RCS would be better for that, but yeah, we got plenty of fuel here, and I think we got monopropellant. We got 30 monopropellant, so maybe we should change this design to have a little bit more mono, but you know, it'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, we are in a coplanar orbit. We're about 20,000 below. Yeah, so let's see what we got in here. Sorry, abort, topics, programs, core tag, help, right. Programs. Return from moon, change app as circularize, countdown, deorbit, docking time. Looking at match plane or powered capture readme. Oh yeah, that readme, that's just in that folder. Do I have a there's match plane rendezvous, there it is. So help rendezvous. Creates a rendezvous with a ship or object in a coplanar orbit. Usage queue, rendezvous, engine name, and target. Okay, so let's try this. That's program, right? Yeah, add rendezvous poodle. That's right, isn't it? This is poodle, so we're going to use the poodle. And I want to do the BSS. And why did we have to do that? We had to do that because we had to be in the right position to approach the target. So it took us about a day to get into the right position. So now we are going to be executing this this maneuver here in a second. And that will change our orbit so that we'll have a pretty close intersection over here. We'll have a separation of 13.5, and we'll see that that's close enough. Okay, and now I'm going to do, what is it, F5? I don't even remember. F5, yeah. Okay, so F5. Function on this keyboard. There we go. Gotta hit function on the key on this keyboard. So I'm going to do... I'm going to do a reboot just because sometimes the KOS memory, you know, gets filled up with all these things you run. Okay. Okay, so I don't remember how well this docking script works, and that's why we did this quick save. So we're going to do add or help docking. Acts with the given target port, requires the target port to be named. Yeah, so we might have to swap back to our target for a second. Trying to checking the countdown, deorbit, docking, match plane, orientation, powered capture, rendezvous, set up for landing, template, transfer to orbit. Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember if I wrote this docking script to need to be within 10 kilometers or something like that. So we might have some issues. We'll see how it goes. But 13K is close enough for manual operations. It's not quite within relative frame, but it's pretty darn close. Relativistic frame. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and manually match velocity. And I might have I think I somehow what the heck? So what are we gonna? So what we're gonna do? And I might have killed the rendezvous script early because it might have had some capacity to do braking within close distance of the target. But we're just going to go ahead and do it manually this time. And so what we're going to do is once we get within, you know, once we get to our closest approach, we're gonna kill velocity, and then we're gonna start nudging our way in. In fact, start slowing down here because that's quite a bit of speed. Let's see. Yeah, and that actually reduced our closest approach. So see how our closest approach is actually coming down. But now it's actually going back up again. So what we need to do is we want to actually start actually moving toward the target. So we want to start moving our prograde vector toward the target. The reason we're not using our RCS is because we got plenty of this main engine fuel. So now our closest approach is actually down to 5 kilometers. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wait until we get there, about 3 minutes from now. So at under 5 kilometers distance, you know, I think I'm gonna try to let my docking script take over. We'll see what happens. But actually, yeah, I need a named docking port. So. Make sure one of these has a name. Which one should we choose? I think we'll go for this one. Change name tag. Oh, and look at that. I already gave it a name. Unity. And then this one is Harmony. I don't know where I got that from. But anyway, now we'll go, look, and that's cool. We're going to be docking in daylight. That's always nice. And so we're going to switch to that. So we're going to be targeting Unity, right? Okay. Yeah, 12 kilometers away. We want to be retrograde to the target. We can also do this show engineer rendezvous. Let's see, distance 9,000 meters and closing. Our relative velocity is like way high, so we need to start bringing that down a little bit. Bringing our closest approach. Actually, it's widening our closest approach, believe it or not. yeah, we're just gonna do it the normal way. We're gonna slow down and then maybe start puffing our way in. So that brought our closest approach to 11 over there and 12 over there. So what we actually want to do is again we want our prograde vector to be like making us go toward the target. So what did that do? 9.5, 8, 7, 6. I want to be under 5. That's good. Okay. When we hit under 5, I'm going to hit a save here. Okay. Quick saving. Okay, now we're going to let's cut our velocity. Basically 0. Null the rates. That's close enough. Okay. I'm going to shut down that engine, and now we're going to try our script. Programs. Okay. Help docking. Yeah, so add docking BSS Unity, and then enter, start. Oh. BSS Unity. Are we not close enough? Maybe I have to be Unity. What was the other thing? Art. Object no reference not sent to an instance of an object. I think that's what it is. I think we're not close enough. Okay. And that might be because we drifted away. So we're going to restart this engine. We're going to point our target, which is interesting, and that is basically heading straight toward it. We might have drifted out of that 5-kilometer zone. See, our our vector is drifting away from the target, so we're gonna just want to make sure that we're heading toward the target. Okay. Alright, now that we're moving toward it again, let's see. Add talking. T. Is it 2 kilometers? It's 2 kilometers, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just not close enough is what the issue is. We gotta keep on bringing this in. Okay. Yeah, we have to be within physics distance, or else it can't identify the docking port as a valid target. Yeah, so toggle that back on. Okay, so we're just gonna slow down reduce our relative velocity here. Try to bring that. Start. There it is. We want our vector to be heading toward the target. .8, okay, so we're almost there. Don't want to go too fast, but would like to get this done before my hair turns completely gray. There's our 2 kilometers. So if we can get within 2 kilometers, then we should be in a much better position. And the script will actually work because it needs to be within physics distance. And honestly, we probably don't want to get our whatchamacallit, intersection distance too close, because of course we don't actually want to physically contact the station in an uncontrolled manner. So we're coming in at 15, almost 16 meters per second, down to 3,000 meters, a little over. The way we can do it is we want to make sure our retrograde vector is pointing the right way. We want it pointing to the station. Okay, so here we go. Let's we're within 2 kilometers. Let's start slowing down. All right, we're going to try this script again and see if it'll work this time. Talking VSS Unity. Oh. Add talking VSS Unity. Start. We're going to run out of... Yeah, we are. Okay. So we're going to do an F9. We might just have to do this manually. But for now, what we're going to do is, you know, yeah, I don't know. I think that wasted too much fuel. So we might make another version of this CRS that includes more fuel, so we can actually do some decent maneuvering. But in the meantime, you know, we're gonna start coming in here. Seven, 0.6. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it manually. This docking script is wasting too much fuel, and actually it's not wasting too much fuel. I just don't have sufficient fuel in it because I think the only fuel here is actually in the capsule, and you know that's on me. So yeah. Yes, we are going to do this manually, which if you haven't tried that before, definitely should give it a go. It's it can be a bit of a thrill. Okay. So we're within 1,000. Definitely want to start slowing down. Like way, way down. Meters. Now, I don't know if you can theoretically actually achieve a docking with just your main engine. I know you can technically rendezvous because you know you just do this. You know you just do small movements and make sure your vector is always pointed toward the target, like what we're doing here. Um, but yeah, we're getting there. That's the thing about Kerbal Space Program. I love this game, but even I'm getting bored watching me, you know. It's really neat stuff, but it's not entertaining, so to speak. Yeah, so I want to get close enough that I can actually see and select the target. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Down to 400. I said I thought we were going to be rendezvous in daylight, but you know, didn't work out. Yeah, spent too much time completing the rendezvous, so the docking, you know, depending on how long we take to do that, we could be coming back into daylight again. Although I don't think so. Oops. Too much. Goosed it just a bit too much. But at these low speeds, you know, it happens. Relative speeds. See, we're in that relativistic frame now, so basically pointing toward the target actually will start making you go toward the target. Rather than that, you know, orbital frame where you can't be sure. Well, I mean, you can be sure, but I'm just not good enough at the math. So okay. Closing in on 100 meters. You know, the reason people don't build enormous space stations is because the part count is just so enormous. Completely destroys part performance. Down to 50, 70 meters, 60, 65, 63, set as target. Okay, so we're going to control from here, and so what we want to do, I want to be on this side, and I'm just going to do a few maneuvers with the main engine because I honestly don't want to waste mono, because I wasted it with that script. So what we're going to do is just thrust a little bit like this. We're drifting upwards. Here, and then we're gonna there's our retrograde marker. There we go. That's going to drift across that docking port plane. To start just sort of just a little bit. I want to make sure so let's turn on our RCS and see what we can do. Yeah, we're going to use our translation controls. Just moving ahead very, very gently. We want to, and with our translation controls, it's more important that we are, you know, parallel to the docking port than it is that that we're pointed at the docking port. are coming in on sunrise, or Kerbal rise. I think we're off where I thought we were. Yeah. And there's the magnets. And we are docked. Okay. Transfer crew, and we want Toby and Tomby in the science module. Tomby, we want you in the science module, and Mundus, the pilot, scientist, and the engineer, Sari. I want you, yeah, you're going to be in the, yeah, and I guess transfer crew, Mundus, you're going to go to be in the other hitchhiker. So let's orient this ship. Open. Make sure we're controlling it from here. Control from here. And let's orient these solar panels. Shut down the engine. Should be getting plenty of electricity. It's 11-1 scientist. I don't think I have any science in here. There we go. PBA report. Cape experiments. Word. Data. Process in the lab. Start research. Okay, cool. Wonder if I have any science to collect from my other stations. Yeah, we need to transmit our science. Stop research. See how we're doing for resources. Electric charge. Yeah, we're doing okay, but we're in the dark, so Looks like we're okay. I don't think we're gonna get it all. Am I gonna lose it or? Oh, I lost. I couldn't transmit it all. Let's see if I can get it all in one go. Transmit science. I think we're gonna get it this time. Just needed the solar panels to be active. You know, these science stations are a great way to get science. I mean, I don't think I've ever maxed out my research, but I might in this game. %. Yeah, we're gonna. It'll transmit this time. %, 91, 92, 95, 97, 98, 9, 511 science added. Start research. That's cool. Okay. Let's go to Minmus. Minmus Station. Switch 2. Okay. See if we got anything here. 55. Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and transmit. I think. Do we have our antenna deployed? Do we not have a long-range antenna on here? Well, maybe we have a relay. Well, however it's working. It's working. All right, let's go to the Space Center and see how much science we got. 888 science. Looks like we had a glitch here. Go ahead and do that one. Or do I want very heavy rocketry? Nano lathing. An adapter. And 550 for those. Good materials. Max multi-point connector. Nuclear propulsion. Large volume containment. Composites. Altitude flight. Heavy aerodynamics. Heavy landing. And tech. Fuel cell array. Well, large probes. Advanced science tech. Ooh, convert Otron. Robotics and stuff. Heavy landing. I mean, I don't know what I want. Let's go ahead and do that. Advanced Metalworks. Inflatable airlock. Okay. I don't want nuclear. I don't need nuclear propulsion. I'm just not But this would be useful. Composites, I think. Metamaterials. And we got 400 left, so we need something in this row. Altitude. The landing. Heat shield. Is that the inflatable heat shield? Large gear. Scanning tech. Yeah, that might be useful. Unmanned attack. We got Major, purple dime, 2. I'll go with scanning tech. We got 128 left. So I don't know how much. Yeah, but yeah, that's like a lot in it. I've never maxed out this tech tree, like ever. Okay, so what's next? I'm gonna go ahead and maybe see about, yeah, that's a 5-way adapter for a station. Credits. 5-way adapter. Okay, so what? Basic. So we launched the basic science station. We got a crew resupply. And what we want to put up next is a another segment of the station. So how do we want to do that? How do we want to handle that? So this is my low-tech 5-way adapter. So what do we want to do here? What do we have for electrics? Do we have any giant solar panels? Those. Yeah, Gigantor. Okay, so let's just assume that we want lots of power. So we got Gigantors, solar cacti solar array. Okay. All right. So what if we did? Solar array segment. So how do we want to? I mean, the International Space Station has like that long rail, of course. So we could do. rail. But how do we pack it is kind of one of those questions. We could do that. If we put some junior docking ports on the ends here, we could extend it. We can extend it. What you're thinking though, like, well, how do we pack it though? That's a really good question. I think what we'll do is we'll actually put we'll even put a docking port here. this into our assembly. Okay. What I actually want is what I actually want is like a tug. So a small basically probe thing that I can use to move stuff around on orbit. So we're going to try that. Here's a 1.25 service bay, and what we're going to do, actually forget that. What I'm going to do is control. I think I want one of these. Yeah, so I want my control unit. This is going to be the base of my tug. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I think I want big clampotron. And then I'm actually going to put on a small structural, yeah. And what I'm going to do is a small adapter so that I can have like a that doesn't work. I want an adapter to a small one. It's too big. Yeah, there we go. And then we can have the junior as well. I don't know, maybe maybe I should use the claw, or maybe we can have a variant with a claw. Okay, and so that will have that, and then we need an engine. So what is this? That's a stabilizer. Don't actually need. Actually, for a tug, a really good stabilizer might not be a bad idea at all. How much mass parts? Electric charge 415. It's a little low, but I think we can work with it. Might add more actually. Should be sufficient. Then we want a fuel tank. Too big. Too big. No Atmo engines. Small engine. We do not need anything big on orbit. What does that give me? Oh, it only has liquid fuel. There's no oxidizer, so that's not going to work. Fuel tanks. Oscar. $3,000. I mean, do want the fuel tank to be. I don't know. That. Well, I almost forgot. I need orbital maneuvering fuel as well, right? So I need. Yeah. So I need center of mass. So I'm gonna need some. Command and control. I need some thruster blocks. Those are probably going to drop when we get fuel into it. But basically, as a tug, I want as much fuel as I can possibly fit into this thing. $180, $220, so that's like a. It's like one of these. That feels a little. I want it to be like maneuverable, so I want that to be closer in. How much? 120? You know, I need more than that. Mono propellant. $400. Okay, so now we're, if we do that, then the back end starts getting wide, and then it might make more sense to do something like that. But that's still not enough fuel. I don't think, maybe it is. But if we do that, then we can use a wider tank, something like that. That gives us 99 to 121. Okay, how about that? How about that? How about that? We do engine. I don't need a big engine, but for all that fuel. Use the bow tail. Just don't want it to look too absolutely weird. To the center of mass there. A little bit up to account for usage. And now we can add more solar panels. Make sure we capacity. Okay. And I guess that is our tug. So what we need this for, basically, is, you know, if we have orbital units that that don't have command and control, then we can maneuver them around. 1,610 meters per second. Monopropellant 400. Well, we have a lot of mono, so that should be fine. Okay. Regular sub-assemblies. So what do you think? How's that for a payload? Got 1,000 meters per second of delta V. It's got plenty of control authority. And okay. True. Yeah, that's what I thought. The center of mass is down there. Good. Okay. So next thing we're gonna do, we need a booster to put it on top of. So boosters. Load. So how much has this got? Okay. Tug plus solar array merge. And, oh, we need a coupler. right, there we go. Close. Now we're going to build fairing. Okay, 1.2 on liftoff. Okay, so we'll see if that works. That's a skipper. Poodle. Okay, so let's see if we can do another. Let's see if we can do another rendezvous to our space station. Okay. Bulldog Tug Solar. Okay. Okay. Let's bring up our actually, I think let me make sure I got a few things configured here. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours now. Yeah, I'm getting tired. I might call it quits in a bit. Ish. Probably want to make sure that our tug has the proper name. Alright, here we go. Okay, bring up. And we're going to run the launch, set up launch. What is this? I want that trigger. Coplanar. BSS. Yes, 80,000. Bulldog. Waiting for our launch window. See how we do. 3, 2, 1. And yes, it is at the maximum of its payload capacity, so. And we're running. Automated launch to orbit to join up with our space station. And here we go. I don't know. Personally, I like those slow launches. I think they're kind of fun. They, you know, barely lift off, and then they just start going and going and going and going. Yeah, we'll see if this one succeeds. That is very, very slow speed to be tipping over like that, but this yeah, I think this launch is going to fail. I think I might have to tune some parameters. Yeah, let's revert to launch. Let me update our Bulldog. I don't want it to be pitching 15 degrees. Let's try 7.5. And call it. Okay, let's try that again. I know. Coplanar. Basic science station. Google height. Bulldog. Starts. Yeah, that happened. Check your staging, right? Okay, so this, what is this? That's not supposed to be there. Yeah, so we're gonna to put that way over here. Let's try this again. Set up launch complainer basic science station 80,000 dog. Might be too much mass for this particular launch vehicle, but the math looks okay. So it's not going to stop the pitch over. It's going to complete the pitch over at about 200 meters per second of velocity. So hopefully it doesn't do that again. And I think it'll probably be okay this time. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Yeah, it's gonna tilt pretty far over. So this is gonna be deep in the atmosphere, but I think we're gonna be okay, because that means we're gonna be putting a lot of horizontal velocity on, which is not a bad thing. So it might be okay. Up to 700. Need to get higher, or else that upper stated engine won't have enough velocity to get us all the way there. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. We need to beef up our so one of the easiest ways to fix that problem, 1.02%. So what we're going to do is we're just going to toss on a couple of boosters, solid fuel boosters. So thumper, mite. Hammers. I mean, we probably don't need a whole heck of a lot. So that would give us 1.5. That might be enough right there. Let's give it a try. Running for very long, so you know, just for the sake of it, I'll put a cap on it. That's too small. Where's my pointy nose cones? There we go. Here we go, one more time. Okay, here we go. And this is basically why, you know, lots of, you know, like the Atlas, it has those side boosters, because, you know, it's got the oomph. It just needs that little bit of extra help off the pad. So this should be enough to get us there, I think, because that little extra oomph, just for those few seconds, is enough to get us into the upper atmosphere, where that vacuum stage engine is going to have, you know, is going to have what it needs. Could be wrong. We got 1300 delta V left, so that'll put us up to about maybe about 1500 meters per second on this first stage. If we can't get to 2300 on this, you know, between these two, then it's not going to be enough. This is very low. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. this isn't going to work out again. I'm just going to let it run a little bit longer just for out of curiosity's sake. But basically this vacuum stage engine, it just isn't being utilized effectively this deep into the in the atmosphere. So we're going to need some more oomph off the pad. Yeah. Okay, so instead of a, we could do 4 hammers, but I'm feeling like maybe a couple of thumpers instead. How much does Thumper have versus the... .75, so it's got more power. It's also got 820 versus 375. All right. Well, one of the things we are going to do though is we're definitely going to reduce this thrust limiter. So it's 70. So if we're, yeah, I don't want to be jumping off the pad at almost 2. So we can knock it down to, yeah, so they have about even between the stages. So that'll be a 1.34. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okay. Hopefully this should work, even if it's not perfect, but if we can get this up to the station, basic science station, 80,000 Bulldog, then I'll take a break and maybe do something else. How about engage? Okay, we're waiting until our launch window. So we're going to be launching to our space station here, and so we want to make sure our launch point is underneath the orbit. Here we go. I think this will work this time. How cool is that? It'll look like a nice launch. Kicked over. So it's going to hold this orientation until it hits 200 meters per second. That's how the launch script is configured. So once it hits 200 meters per second here, it's going to start pointing prograde. There we go. And if we look at, so you can see our orbit here and the orbit track here. Hopefully when the planet moves so that we're right underneath this orbit, we're going to be in the same plane as it. So that's the objective here. And there's actually our target. It's behind us right now. So we a rule of thumb is you try to hold your time to apoapsis at about 40 something seconds, and that's usually adequate to get you into orbit. So the way we do that is modulate your throttle. Now, you know, real life rockets generally don't have the capacity to have this deep throttling like this. You know, real life rockets, you know, for a long time didn't have the capacity to throttle down more than 10%, and maybe not even that. Usually it was just on and full throttle. But like, you know, with these new space technology companies, you know, things are different now. You know, so maybe we might see more Kerbal-esque kind of operations eventually, but not yet. So we want to get up to about 2,300 meters per second here, and so hopefully we have enough power to do that. We're far enough out of the atmosphere that I think this second stage is going to work this time. So we got about 1,500 here, and we got about 800 left. So that's probably going to be just about enough, hopefully. If we have to modify this rocket again, you know, so be it. But we'll also probably kick off this protective shell when we get high enough in the atmosphere, and that might actually give us enough delta V to get into orbit. So we'll see how we do. And there's our target over there. It's only 100 kilometers away, but that doesn't actually mean anything. We're probably going to go through a few orbits yet. I think I'd like to get up to like 55. I'm going to deploy it. Hopefully the drag doesn't kill us. So what we're launching here is we have a solar array for our space station along with a tug. Yep. Well, I'm not, yeah. Well, okay. Well, we launched, but not exactly the way, didn't exactly finish it quite as well as I would have liked. not have... I think I might have to upgrade my probe core because I don't think... It doesn't have... This is all it has. It says stability assist, and for that tug, I'm definitely going to need better than that. So what do I have in here? Yeah, I'm gonna revert. Put in a new core, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna upgrade to the hex. And we need some more oomph. Just a little bit more. Like, just a little bit more. So what am I going to do? Probably throw on a couple of hammers here. Okay, let's give that a try. See how we do. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's nice to have some company. Thinking about playing some bar Beyond All Reason later. I don't know if I'll stream that, but if you haven't tried it, you definitely should. So I have a couple of different nouns you can use to start a script. Start, engage. I think I have another one. We're gonna go with start. Okay, what happened here? I'm not sure what I did wrong, but we'll figure it out. Ah. I think I've launched this rocket like 5 times now. Okay, let's try this one more time. So that makes it a 1, 2, 3, basically a 4-stage rocket at this point. These hammers will drop off. Thumpers. Drive is deep into the upper atmosphere. And then the liquid fuel engine will continue driving us. We should have plenty of fuel for the circularization burn. Bumpers are going to drop off here in a second. Throttling down for the sort of cruise phase of flight. Our time to apoapsis is at about 44 seconds. And we're looking for about 2,300 meters per second on our velocity. Apoapsis up to 42,000. I think we'll have plenty this time. At 500, that'll get us up to 1,800. Maybe not quite as high as you want to be by the time you start your vacuum engines, but I think it'll work out this time. And we're looking for 2,300 meters per second here. So the script pulses the engine like that when we're still in the atmosphere, just to maintain the target apoapsis. You know, it's not necessarily a great strategy, but it works. So we got almost 350 meters per second of delta V remaining. That'll be plenty for our circularization burn. And then we can should be able to use our tug the rest of the way to get there. So earlier in this stream, already did a rendezvous and docking manually. We'll see how it goes this time. Might be able to use our script this time with the additional RCS fuel that we have on board. Okay, once we get to about 65,000, might go ahead and kick off that aeroshell, which should probably add a few more meters per second of delta V. There might be an automatic thing to do it, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So once we get to 70,000 meters, it will start time warp and will warp to apoapsis. Yeah, so here's our solar panel module for the space station. Now what I have here on this tug, we have engine, a big fuel tank, some RCS fuel, some RCS units here, and we have an adapter so that we have a large docking port and a small docking port. So I'm thinking we might put this module on one end of the station, and the small docking ports are kind of intended, you know, to like fill out this gantry. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so we're gonna warp to apoapsis here. Okay. So now what do? Well, now we want to rendezvous with the station here. Now I could do it the automated way. You know, with my script, and maybe that's what we'll do. But the basic idea is that we want to get to a point in the orbit where we can make a new orbit that intersects the station and reaches that point at the same time that the station does. So, you know, we're about 20 kilometers below them, so we're actually moving faster than they are. So we can try. Let's try something. Let's try manually making a maneuver to see where we can intersect the station at. Right? Let's see what happens. So if we our closest approach is 300 kilometers, so that's not going to work. But over here, our closest approach is actually 54, so maybe we can do that. Maybe that'll work. That'll get us there at 2.3 kilometers. And so yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do is we'll open our Bulldog, and I'm just going to go ahead and reboot. Make sure I clear out any memory in case. Okay, add help. I think I gotta go program. List programs. What is it? It's run maneuver. Add run maneuver. Run maneuver. Let me do that again. Well, I think the way I have it is I need to give it the engine name. So add run Poodle. Yeah. I think I haven't played this game in quite some time, but I think it was just so common for me to use that. I guess I didn't put in any help text for it. Which I probably should have done. Okay. So now we have an intersection where we are going to intersect with our target. And so we'll go ahead and warp to that. And see, in this part of the orbit, we're actually higher than the target, so we're moving across the face of the planet actually slower, and so the target is going to catch up to us. Yeah. And so we're going to switch into rendezvous mode over here. And actually, I want So because we did it this way, we're going to be moving pretty darn quickly as we come in on our target, and so we're going to have to keep an eye on this. We're 32 kilometers away, and I think, yeah, there's our target. It's below us. And we're moving at 174 meters per second relative, and so we're going to need to slow down here. But get a little closer before we do. I think maybe when we get within 10 kilometers, we'll start slowing down. I'm not sure why I can't control that engine. But we're gonna... Okay, so we want to be moving toward the target. Actually, that's not quite right. A little wobbly here. So you want to get it so that your prograde marker in the target reference frame is moving toward the target. yeah, now we're flying information. We're about 4 kilometers away. We need to get close enough that we can identify a docking port. So that's about 1,000 meters away or less. We need that rendezvous to come down. Just gonna head toward it. Seven, 0.2. Intersection in 3 kilometers. Down to 2.9. You really don't want to be moving too quickly at this distance. And every ounce of speed you put on, you're gonna have to use up fuel to stop as well. So this is just time consuming. But you just want to keep your prograde vector headed toward the target. we're down to point. Yeah, so that should be good. So we'll turn it to retrograde so that we can start our braking maneuver when we get there. To 1,000 meters. When you get into these distances, you can basically start to work as if you're in a flat plane, just as long as you're not going too fast. You know, in other words, thrusting toward the target will actually start moving you toward the target, that kind of stuff. Okay, so I want to do some maneuvers here. So I want to decouple, and then I want to reattach to one of these two. So I think this is a mod, this little red icon here, but basically it's very helpful in terms of docking. So basically what you want to do is you want to start pointing toward that and then use the translation controls to get you into the right space. We should be controlling from here if we're not. So in other words, rotate until you're pointing in the correct direction, and then we'll use the translation controls. I think these thrusters are probably not really in a good position, but it'll work. So this is the first version of this tug. There's the one I wanted. There we go. Control from here. Now I'm gonna try my docking script and see how that goes. But I'm gonna do a save first, just in case it wastes too much fuel. But I want to see how it goes. Okay, let's see. Add docking. Help docking. Target port. Local ports optional. Okay, add docking BSS, and the name tag on the port is actually going to be Harmony. The other one is Unity. Let's see how it goes. Start. No abort mode defined. Docking BSS. Oh, it's not working. Oh well. We'll just do it by hand. I'll figure it out later. Control from here. Okay, so we have our ship docked over there, so we actually want to be on the other side. So we'll move away from the station. Just rotate around so we're pointing the other direction. So we want to dock to the port on that side. Where'd it go? There it is. You know, at this distance, 1 meter per second sure can seem pretty fast, huh? But yeah, that's the docking port we want. Okay. Okay. I think we did it. Oh, you can't undeploy these ones, right? So, okay. Let's rotate. So that we get nice good sun exposure. Probably connected them the wrong way, didn't I? But with this setup, we're probably going to get pretty good sun no matter what way we're pointing. So call it 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 13, 14, 15, 30, 60. And these produce about 26 times 4. So 25 times 4 is about 100. So yeah, the Gigantors are definitely producing more, for what it's worth. Okay. So now so now we're going to do a maneuver to move over to this docking port. Ooh. Yeah, we got plenty of oomph on this tug. Yeah, perspective. It's hard to tell where you are sometimes. Especially when I didn't lay out the thrust vectoring correctly for this doohickey. Okay. Well, yeah. That's just about 4 hours for me, guys. Thanks for joining me. Hope you have a good evening, but I think I'm gonna ring off for now. Maybe do some other stuff. Take care. Bye.